Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Listen Up Girl podcast. I'm your host, Zach Randall-Freeman, and this is the LGBTQ News and Culture Roundup. Today is Sunday, February the 15th, and hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day. Today's episode is packed from federal legislation aimed at protecting transgender Americans to the re-raising of the pride flag at the Stonewall, to legal battles over gender-affirming care, media controversies, and yes, even what happened on Pornhub after Super Bowl halftime. So let's get into it. First story is new federal bill aims to expand trans civil rights protections. Two prominent lawmakers are pushing forward legislation that would significantly expand civil rights protections for transgender Americans. The bill, introduced by Representative Pramila Jayapal and Senator Edward Markey, would strengthen protections in healthcare, housing, employment, and education nationwide. Supporters say the legislation is necessary as state-level restrictions continue to target transgender communities, particularly around access to healthcare and school policies. Advocates argue this bill would provide clarity and consistency at the federal level, especially as courts across the country wrestle with how existing civil rights laws applies to gender identity. Opponents are expected to challenge the measure, setting up what could be a high-profile political battle in the months ahead. Next, we go to New York, where the pride flag was re-raised at Stonewall Monument. In New York City, officials and LGBTQ advocates gathered this week to re-raise the rainbow pride flag at the Stonewall National Monument in Greenwich Village after it was quietly removed under federal directive. The removal sparked outrage. The pride flag had flown at the monument, which marks the birthplace of the modern LGBTQ+ rights movement, as a powerful symbol of resilience and history. But following the new Department of Interior guidelines limiting non-governmental flags within national park systems, the flag was taken down and replaced with a U.S. flag. By Monday morning, employees of the Stonewall Inn discovered the flag was gone. By Tuesday, the pole stood bare. Stacy Lentz, co-owner of the Stonewall Inn, said the removal was unbelievable, especially after previous efforts to erase references to transgender people from the monument's website. She emphasized the flag represents far more than decoration. It's a reminder to young LGBTQ people that their history will not be erased. City officials and advocates responded swiftly, restoring the flag in a public show of defiance and solidarity. How you can take down a pride flag at the Stonewall Monument is beyond me. That's what it's all about. Next, court rulings on trans women's access to facilities. In a significant legal development overseas, High Court ruled on February 13th that transgender women are lawfully permitted to use women's facilities, except in certain workplace contexts, despite claims from Equality and Human Rights Commission suggesting otherwise. The court determined that the service providers do not need to exclude transgender individuals from appropriate facilities such as toilets and changing rooms. The decision pushes back on restrictive interpretations and affirms existing protections. The ruling is seen as an important clarification in increasingly contentious debate over access and rights. And I believe that story was from the United Kingdom. And next, California court orders hospitals to continue gender-affirming care. Back in the U.S., a California state ordered Rady Children's Hospital in San Diego to continue providing gender-affirming hormone therapy and puberty blockers to trans youth for at least one more month. The hospital had halted services following threats from current presidential administrations to cut federal funding for institutions offering gender-affirming care. The state of California responded by suing, arguing the hospital was contractually obligated to provide the treatment. The ruling gives families until March 10th to secure alternative care, with another hearing scheduled to determine what happens next. Next, media controversies from Super Bowl to NBC apology. Tennessee Governor Andy Ogles is calling for an investigation into Bad Bunny's 2026 Super Bowl halftime performance, alleging gay sexual acts, and requesting a congressional inquiry into the NFL and NBC. Meanwhile, NBC Universal issued an apology this week after Olympic commentators repeatedly misgendered transgender skier Elis Ludholm during a live stream. In a separate twist, Pornhub released data showing a massive spike in football-themed searches following following the Super Bowl. Searches for Super Bowl jumped more than 5,600% compared to the previous month, with related football and Latino-themed categories seeing sharp increases, a likely reflection of Bad Bunny's Puerto Rican heritage and cultural spotlight during halftime. So it sounds like people got really turned on by Bad Bunny and football players, so good for them. Next, somebody who I love, T.S. Madison, granted temporary restraining order. T.S. Madison has secured a temporary restraining order against a content creator who allegedly live streamed himself outside her Georgia home after months of escalating online threats. In an exclusive interview, Madison described how online commentary allegedly turned into stalking and harassment. The case highlights growing concerns about influencer culture, online radicalization, and real-world safety risks. Stay safe, T.S. Madison. Next, North Carolina State University dismissal. North Carolina State University has dismissed the assistant director of LGBTQ Pride Center after an anti-DEI group secretly recorded him explaining how the school continues supporting LGBTQ students despite system-wide anti-DEI policies. This marks the fourth UNC system institution where an employee has been targeted in similar circumstances. Critics say these actions are part of a coordinated effort to intimidate diversity staff across public universities. Next, police arrest man in Portland for alleged anti-trans assault. In Portland, Oregon, police arrested 51-year-old William Thomas Ashley for allegedly attacking a transgender woman at a light rail station after making racist and transphobic remarks. Authorities say he allegedly grabbed her umbrella, struck her, pulled her to the ground by her hair, and shouted that she didn't belong in the country. The case is being investigated as a bias crime. Next story, the Orange Cheeto Man excludes governors from the White House event. Cheeto Man confirmed this week that Colorado Governor Jared Polis and Maryland Governor Wes Moore, the nation's only openly gay male governor and its only black governor, were not invited to the traditional White House events connected to the National Governors Association gathering. The move has drawn criticism from Democratic leaders who say the exclusions send a troubling message. I would say that's a troubling message. It sounds to me that Cheeto Man is not just homophobic, but he's also a super racist. I think everybody knew all this before, but it just all continues the story of what the Cheeto Man represents. Next, Khalid reflects after being outed. Singer Khalid celebrated his birthday this week, reflecting on his public coming out experience after being outed by his ex-partner in 2024. Initially describing this experience as nasty and triggering, Khalid later embraced his sexuality publicly, writing that he is not ashamed and that he's okay with himself. Many fans praised his resilience and vulnerability. Next, we go to Cardi B with politics and ICE comments. Cardi B, who we all love, ignited fresh controversy after comments during her Little Miss Drama tour regarding ICE enforcement. Following pushback from the Department of Homeland Security, she responded online by questioning why more attention isn't being paid to the Epstein files. The exchange quickly went viral, underscoring how celebrity commentary continues to insert with national politics. She also said she'll kick their ass if they come into her concert, and I believe she would. Next, Netflix CEO addresses cancellation. Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos addressed speculation that politics influenced the cancellation of the show Boots, telling Variety that the decision was strictly based on viewership related to cost. Absolutely not, Sarandos said, emphasizing it was a business decision. Not sure if I believe that, but that's what he's saying. Next, NYU event dispute. An NYU student organizer claimed the university canceled an event featuring environmental activist drag queen Patty Gonya over the fears that the Orange Band's administration might target the school. NYU disputes that characterization, stating the event was never officially scheduled due to cost and space concerns. And our last story, finally, is remembering James Vanderbeek. We are remembering James Vanderbeek, who passed away after a battle with cancer. Known for defining a generation of teen television, he faced his illness publicly with grace and love for his family. Fans around the world are sharing memories and tributes. One of his big quotes that is circulating the internet was, quote, "I'm confused. How is two gay people getting married a threat to my marriage? Am I doing anything wrong?" He was a true advocate for the LGBTQ plus community, and he will be greatly missed. And that's your LGBTQ news roundup for today. From civil rights legislation to courtroom battles, from Stonewall to Super Bowl, these stories remind us how interconnected culture, politics, and identity really are. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you're subscribed, leave a review, and share it with someone who wants to stay informed and engaged. I'm Zach Randall-Friedman, and thanks for listening. And check back this week for more LGBTQ plus news. Thanks for listening.